The hinges of the chest groaned in protest as Eilidh lifted the heavy lid. A plume of dust rose with the motion, catching in the pale, uncertain light that bled through the bedroom's moth-eaten drapes. The morning was quiet, but not still. There was a tension in the manor's old bones, a hush that felt more like breath held than peace. Inside, the chest revealed a small, strange collection. On top of the pile, set with curious reverence, was an iron cross. It was crude and weighty, the edges uneven, the surface blotched with the bloom of age. Not ornamental, not decorative. A thing forged to be held, not seen. Eilidh stared at it, frowning. Her mother had never been religious. She remembered no crosses on the walls of their flat, no muttered prayers before bed, no church on Sundays. Ava McCrae had never offered platitudes about heaven or grace, only silence when it came to the soul. Why would she keep this? Her gaze drifted lower. Just beneath the cross, nestled in the folds of old fabric, was a dagger. Short-bladed. Its edge was dull, chipped in places, the rust blooming over it in thick red scabs that looked too much like dried blood. The iron hilt was dark, twisted into the shape of a vine that had wrapped around something until it strangled it. It looked older than anything else in the chest, older than the chest itself. A weight settled behind Eilidh's ribs. It was the kind of blade you didn't forget, the kind that made you ask questions even before it drew blood. She hesitated, then, almost without thinking, reached for both items, wanting to lift them out and set them aside so she could search through the rest. Her mother's clothes were underneath. She could already see the faded fabric, smell the subtle ghost of perfume and old sea air. Her fingers brushed the dagger's hilt. Pain, sharp, immediate, stabbed her in the chest. Not in her hand, not where she touched the blade. Her heart. It pierced her as though something had driven iron into the center of her being. Her breath caught in her throat. Then came the scream. Not hers. It filled her head like a storm tide breaking. A sound raw and violent, as if torn from lungs scorched with fury. It was followed by the shriek of a horse. No gentle whinny, but a sound wrenched from some unholy throat. A beast in agony or rage, or both. Her body recoiled before her mind could catch up. She slammed the chest closed, nearly catching her fingers in her panic. Her breath came in ragged bursts. Her vision pulsed at the edges. She stepped back from the chest and pressed her palm to her breast, as if she could calm the place where the pain still echoed. The house was quiet again, but the silence didn't comfort her now. It listened. She went down the stairs unsteadily, one hand trailing the polished wood of the banister, as though afraid the house might shift beneath her feet. The air was cold and dry, and the manor exhaled around her, floorboards creaking softly, the wind threading through unseen cracks in the stone walls like a whispering breath. She thought of tea, bread, something warm to chase off the strange pain still ghosting through her ribs. The kitchen lay ahead, promising routine, if not comfort. She didn't make it that far. 3 sharp knocks rang out from the front door. Each one echoed like a hammer striking stone, reverberating through the hall, through her chest. She froze mid-step. The house stilled with her, holding its breath. Another knock didn't come. Just those 3. Final. Measured. Eilidh walked to the door, her fingers curling around the cool brass handle. She opened it. There he stood, the young man from the wake. His dark hair clung damply to his brow, curls flattened by the morning mist. He wore a coat far too thin for the coastal wind, his collar turned up in some futile defense. There were shadows under his eyes, the kind grief etched deep in time hadn't yet smoothed over.
Hello, Eilidh. I'm glad we've met, despite the circumstances.
She stared at him, her throat tight.
I'm Aaron, and, well, Ava was my mother too. It seems we're the last McCraes.
Her lips parted, but no sound came. She stepped aside slowly, wordless, uncertain why. He entered without hesitation, but without arrogance, his gaze low, shoulders drawn in, as though afraid the house might reject him. She studied him as he passed. He looked like no one she knew, and yet there was something about him, in the set of his jaw maybe, or the crease in his brow. Something familiar, something inherited. The silence hung too long. He broke it.
She left more behind than just this.
He said, gesturing vaguely toward the old hallway, the time-darkened paintings, the weight of stone and memory.
I don't blame her. She was scared. And my dad, he didn't want to leave. Said a man had the final word when it came to his son. I guess she listened. I'm just confused by all this.
Eilidh found her voice.
Why didn't you ever write or call anything?
I didn't know if she really was my mum until she came back. I was a baby when she left. My dad, he never talked about her. Not really. Just said she left. And we all know about the McCrae who left.
He turned toward the large portrait in the hallway, the McCrae patriarch glaring out from behind glass and oil paint.
She named me Aaron, and everyone knows Aaron McCrae.
She watched him, uncertain whether to believe or retreat.
I'm sorry. We only spoke once when she came back. She told me who she was, who I am. Told me to come here so we could talk about our blood.
She stiffened.
What do you mean?
Door was open when I got here, but she was gone. I'm the one who reported her missing.
What was she to your father?
They were young. They thought they'd last, especially after I was born, but
But life happened.
Aaron turned to her fully, eyes bright.
no, that's not life, Eilidh. I'm not here just for answers, and I didn't come after whatever she left you.
He stepped closer.
I'm here because the blood in our veins is poison.
She pulled back, her chest tightening.
What are you talking about?
Aaron's eyes didn't leave hers, though something in them dimmed as he spoke.
They say it began with the first Aaron McCrae.
Eilidh's silence stretched between them, and he took it for permission.
Centuries ago, he came from the mainland with coin in his pocket and conquest on his mind. The island was quiet then, untouched, still ruled by old ways. The people feared the sea, respected the land. There was a grove up on the hill before the manor stood. Ash and yew, grown in a circle, older than any church. Sacred, they said, a place for prayer and offering. The Druids kept it.
He turned from her, walking slowly toward the window, where pale light diffused through the mist like breath against glass.
But Aaron McCrae didn't believe in old stories. He wanted a legacy set in stone, something to outlast bone. So he ordered the grove cut down, trees older than memory, felled in a single week. He paid his men well, then beat them bloody when they faltered. He forced them to work through storms, through frost. They say blood soaked the roots that hadn't yet rotted. When it was done, he laid the first stone of McCrae Manor right in the grove's heart.
Eilidh swallowed hard, the air seeming thicker with every word.
The Druids warned him. They said the grove had been a seal, that its trees kept something buried, something older than even their gods. But McCrae laughed. He claimed dominion, said there was nothing in the sea or sky that would make him bend.
Aaron paused, his reflection blurred in the glass.
That's when the curse came. The Druids gathered on the shore, dressed in weeds and salt. They performed their rites and bound the sea devil to our blood, the Nukkalavi. You've seen it, haven't you?
Eilidh didn't answer, but her stillness told him enough.
Couldn't destroy it. It was too strong. So they gave it purpose, a pattern. Every generation, it takes one of us. Always one. Never more, never less. When the time comes, the signs begin. The air turns. The animals grow sick. Crops fail. Children waste away. No one says it aloud, but the villagers know. They always know.
She turned her face slightly, as if bracing from something cold.
We feel it too. In the blood. Nightmares. Sounds in the dark. A heaviness. As if something vast and wet has climbed out of the sea and is waiting just beyond the door. And then it chooses. And there's nothing anyone can do.
How long has it been happening?
Long enough that no one really doubts it anymore.
But fatalities happen in every family. That doesn't mean...
Not like this. It always happens during a shift, a break in the seasons. A liminal time, Beltane, Samhain, Lent. Storms come without warning. The body is never whole.
His words settled over her like ash.
And the village suffers with us. They pay the price until we bleed. That's why they fear us, Eilidh. Why they won't speak your name. It's not hatred. It's survival. The longer a McCrae lingers after the Nukkalevi has made its choice, the longer they're cursed with us.
The house groaned in the silence that followed, the wind brushing the windows like a breath from the sea. Eilidh stared past him, to the portrait of the first Aaron McCrae. The painted eyes stared back, proud, cruel, eternal.
She came back to break it, I think. Our mother. But she ran out of time. She invited me here. I thought she had found some way for us to escape. But now she's gone. Eilidh, I don't think she jumped. I believe...
It dragged her. And if it's true, then one of us is next.
Aaron nodded once. He looked to the sea, his reflection now a ghost in the glass.
And I think it's already watching, making up its mind. Our mother almost got away. I don't think it would reach her there, but I was here. She came back because it would have been me. And then it would be over. You, your children, you'd be safe, far from here. Eilidh, I swear I would have let you go. I thought only God knew how much time I had left. But I saw it yesterday.
In a dream.
No. I saw it on the surf, on the horizon, through the rain. Eilidh, I thought I'd be ready when the time came, but once we start seeing it, one of us is taken. In a week, at most.
Why is it coming back so early then?
I think it wants you, Eilidh. Our mother leaving was a loose end. Maybe it doesn't want to risk you leaving, thriving, having a whole lineage of free McCraes.
So I should pack up and leave?
I wouldn't blame you if you did. But who can guarantee none of your children, or their children, will come back? Do you think they'd believe in the curse? And well, that would also mean I'd be dead in a few days. If our mother thought we had a chance, maybe there is something we can do. Besides, if it's coming for you already, the fairy would be a silver platter for it to pick you from.
Aaron, what you're saying is insanity.
Haven't you seen it?
I don't know what to believe. I need you to give me some time.
Please, just listen.
You need to leave or I'll call the police.
He held her gaze for a long moment, something hollow flickering behind his eyes. Then he nodded and stepped past her without another word. The wind caught the door as he left, slamming it shut behind him. Eilidh pictured her dream. Ava's skin fluttering in the wind. The McCrae Legion watching as she reached the edge. The waiting beast in the water. She gripped the kitchen counter, knuckles pale, trying to steady her breath. Her chest rose and fell in frantic bursts, her pulse loud in her ears. The air felt thick, too thick to swallow. She needed water. Her throat burned with dryness, her tongue rough against her teeth. Water. Just a glass. She turned the tap. It groaned like something ancient being roused from sleep, coughed, and then spat a weak stream into the sink. She filled the glass and drank deeply. Salt. She gagged, the brine cutting sharp across her tongue and searing down her throat. Eilidh recoiled, spitting the liquid across the sink and floor, coughing, her eyes wide. The taste lingered, sea rot and iron, as if the ocean itself had poured from the pipes. Then, the choking came. First dry, hacking spasms that convulsed her chest, then wet and retching. Her knees buckled as she bent forward, clutching the edge of the counter. Her body heaved once, twice, and then something thick forced its way up her throat. Seaweed. It spilled from her mouth, wet and glistening green, like something dredged from a forgotten seabed. It slapped against the stone floor with a sickening sound, the strands clinging to her skin like fingers. She stared at it, horrified, before shoving herself away, stumbling toward the stairs on unsteady feet. Tears streaked down her face as she fled the kitchen, her sobs broken by gasps. Her whole body shook. She didn't stop until she reached the bedroom again, the chest still open where she'd left it. She dropped to her knees and reached inside, her hands trembling. She lifted the iron cross first, half expecting it to sear her skin as the dagger did, but there was nothing. No heat, no pain, just cold metal in her palm. Her fingers rifled through her mother's belongings, desperate for anything to explain what was happening, anything to still the dread coiled in her chest. That's when she found it. Not her mother's. Older. A journal, bound in leather darkened by age and damp. The cover was brittle, the edges flaking as she opened it. The ink on the first page had faded but was still legible, the letters written in a hand steadier than her own. It is real. The beast rose from the sea. For me. As it did to my father, and his father before him. The signs have started, but I will keep it at bay. I will keep it at bay. Eilidh stared at the words, her breath catching. The journal shook in her hands. She didn't finish the page. She didn't need to. She slammed it shut and stood, heart thundering in her ears. Then she ran. Out the bedroom, down the stairs, through the door. The mist hit her like a wave, but she didn't slow. Her boots hit the path with force, the wind catching in her hair. Eilidh heard something right behind her, but she didn't dare look back. She didn't know where he'd gone, but she had to find him. He couldn't be far. Aaron had answers, and something was coming.